step. And then, there's lots of ways of getting still, but I feel like the breath is, outside of plant medicine, is probably the most profound thing that we can get into. And plant medicine, it's beautiful because if you kind of simplify it in its most basic way, I would say it's just levels of presence. Yeah, it's just all the presence. Like even with microdosing, you take a little bit, and people always ask, like, what does microdosing do? Just a little bit more present. Just for you to maybe just see things a little bit differently. You'll be more at peace. You'll be more zen. And maybe you'll just like feel something. Like all of a sudden a station that you used to listen to on the radio, you just, it doesn't feel the same anymore. You might change it to something else. And maybe you change it to conscious music or music that was made with loving intentions. Or maybe when you're a little bit more present after your meditation, you go to the same like food space that you usually go to, but for whatever reason, it just feels a little bit different. It doesn't feel right anymore. It's like, I want to try something new. And you find yourself picking something more healthy or regenerative even. And you start feeling these energies. And, I did that with my furniture. As I mentioned, conscious consumerism was probably my fun thing that I like to really focus on. It's like, I really started paying attention to the products or companies that I support. What are their intentions? Are they actually loving intentions with whatever it is that they're making? And when I purchase that with my energy, with my money, with my love, what is that coming back? What is going to be in my home? What is it made from? And that's been really powerful for me. From my coffee table to my bookshelves to my clothes, I know where it's made from, who made it, and the intentions behind it. And that fills my soul, that fills my home. I believe a lot of people actually are mostly anxious and restless due to the fact that we unconsciously consume a lot of things, whether it's food, music, TV, furniture, clothes. And a lot of times we're just kind of buying without realizing that the intentions behind these products or these businesses aren't for love. They're for profit. They're for self. And that's a big one. I think that's a big one, like a lot of us can be better about and really make those strides. It's hard though. I think a lot of the reasons why we buy what we buy is also the way that we cope due to our traumas, due to our anxiety. So it's kind of hard to like remove those things and then fill it with something that's more positive and more profound, for us to like choose a better behavior. It's hard with the way the mind works when it's built on reward-based learning, which is fascinating. How do we break these habits? How do we break these habit loops? And you first have to become aware of when you are triggered, and then you have to become aware of the behavior that you're unconsciously choosing, and then you have to become aware of the result or reward of that behavior, and did it really serve you? And it's hard to even like step outside and start mapping that without awareness, without stillness.
I feel like this is something that a lot of people who will listen to this will give them a whole new level of awareness when they consider their purchasing power, and that when they spend their money, they are supporting whatever it is they're giving their money to. And that's amazing. I've never really considered, of course I've considered where things have come from, but not the fact that unconsciously, cause and effect, that when we do spend our money on certain things, if that thing isn't in alignment with integrity and your values and your morals, love, then you are perpetuating that thing, in which case you're actually becoming the creator of it to an extent.
Wow. Yes. Yeah, and that's hard because that's a hard mirror.
Shit.
It's hard. It's a hard mirror, it's funny. It's like, I'm kind of hard. And it's not like I judge anybody for doing anything different, but I'm a hard mirror for people. Even in relationships, I'm a hard mirror. And I don't have a TV in my house. I do in my tech room, in my podcast room, but I don't have a lot of these apps. It's even one of the things that I'm working towards is to fully remove myself from Instagram eventually, just because I know the platform is no good. You know, we have to do things slowly sometimes to separate. It takes time. It's not ever just a cut sever, but there's some things that you can do, you know, like no more using plastic bottles, or, you know what I mean? You can get really good about certain things, but other things take a little bit of time to process. But yeah, it's nice seeing it that way, and then you become really in tune, just like how you said. And it's really cool, like how you really can start paying attention, and even like I think another reason why a lot of people are restless and anxious is we're so quickly domesticated from our roots. You know, it's like most of us aren't touching the ground or getting in the sun or eating whole organic foods. Mostly things are processed. Everything is synthetic and simulated and overstimulated. So I think most people are literally disconnected in every way from Gaia, from Earth. I think a lot of people, especially in cities, may have gone months, maybe even years without touching the ground. And it's really interesting. You start thinking about, like, why does the human suffer? You know, what is really causing the suffering? Is it the processed food? Is it the energy that we're dealing through the day that's perpetuating? Because I am you, you are me, we are one, you know, and then, yeah, never touching the earth, never getting in the sun, intentionally getting in the sun. And things are thrown off, like even like sunglasses. Sunglasses don't allow your body to regulate the pigment to properly tan. So that's why we burn, because we wear sunglasses. So it's cool connecting in these ways, and feeling my person settle as I do it, as I become more aware of it. And I also realized there's a part of me that I can still feel a certain restlessness to me, and I like to always try to see what that's about. And I think a lot of us do come from trauma, and I think a lot of us do have anxiety due to fear plus uncertainty of the unknown. But I think most people are truly just addicted to stimulation and the chase for dopamine, especially these short ones that we're all experiencing through these devices, or these likes, or these comments, or our emails, or the food. And I think if we can see that most of us have a feeling of restlessness more than maybe an old trauma wound or fear of the unknown, those things are there. But I feel like that restlessness is something that we really don't pay attention to, that withdrawal, that addiction withdrawal. And then we often will create a story from that restlessness, which is really interesting. Like, I'm lonely, or I'm not enough. And maybe that did play on something like as a child. Maybe that's why it can go that way. But I think most are just restless whenever they're not stimulated. And it's a withdrawal. And that feeling, they don't know what that is.
Do you think that withdrawal is actually not just a withdrawal from the device or the thing that's given them the dopamine release? That's actually highlighting a deeper withdrawal, which is a withdrawal from
connection.
Yeah, that deeply within themselves and what they are a part of. Because when you said about the purchasing power, I bet that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable, because at that point, you have to actually take responsibility, and you have to realize, fuck, I'm not just affecting me. I am connected to everything. And if you realize that by when you spend your pound or your dollar, that doesn't just stop here. It goes out and it supports industry, it supports behavior, it supports suffering. I suppose it has to bring awareness to the fact that I am not just this singular me, which a lot of Western philosophy is based on, that we are just individual, the ego. We're, I mean, the Andrew Tate model, which is player versus player, win-lose metrics. It's it makes you realize, no, there is something outside of me that I am connected to, and my actions affect everything.
Mm-hmm. They really do, and in fact, they create everything. Like I think on a really like quantum level. Like I noticed if I do my work, if I'm as mindful as I can be, and I do my practices, and I also be as present as I can, be as aware as I can through my modalities, through my meditations, my breath, you know, acts of service. My reality is always shifting. I truly feel my oceans will get better. I see the world changing and becoming a utopia if I can be that within myself, if I can honor it within myself, within my home, within my community, and share that knowledge and really walk the walk. You know, I think there's a lot of us that conceptualize consciousness, but I think truly being is like the full circle of it all. We get so caught up into understanding it and philosophizing it. I mean, I was and still am into that, and oftentimes, and now I'm coming full circle. It's like, it's just about being. It's about
Yeah.
being. It's about being right here, being love, having your heart fully open, being aware, and it's beautiful. It's that's what I've realized more than anything is like two choices when anything happens. Does your heart stay open or does your heart close? And now I love moments where it wants to close because I look at it. I'm like, no, we stay open. It's like, no, stay open. And the only times I do close is if I'm not doing my work, if I'm not doing my meditations, if I'm not doing my breath, if I'm eating processed food, if I'm taking in bullshit, my vibration drops, my consciousness drops. But if I consistently look under the veil that is the universe through stillness, through the present moment, I keep upgrading this beautiful person to be more loving awareness. Yeah, I didn't